must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
In the last 6 to 7 months, the war in Somalia has changed goalposts. The government of Somalia seems to have changed its modus operandi. Instead of supporting AMISOM and supporting the efforts of the other agencies and other countries that have gone in Somalia to support them, to help the pacification of Somalia, the return of Somalia to the world order. The government in Mogadishu has instead initiated a move towards fighting the same governments that went to Somalia to help them. A few weeks ago, the Kenyan government asked the international community to investigate the reports that were circulating in international media with concrete evidence that money was being channeled through so many sources, including those from Qatar, Turkey, and some other countries, Norway, and so on, that were trying to kill the peace that we are trying to build in Somalia. The Somalia crisis dates back in 1991 when Ziad Barre was toppled. The Americans came and did a half job, left it in our hands for us to solve. We have tried our level best. The nationals of Uganda, Burundi, Kenya, Djibouti, Ethiopia have all perished in Somalia. They have perished in the sense to bring up a better Somalia for the people of Somalia, the best generation that will come. But these efforts are being hampered by President Farmajo, Mohamed Farmajo, who himself has turned on AMISOM and turned on Kenyan troops and made them enemies. The shooting down of a plane yesterday, a Kenyan plane that was carrying medical equipment, is a climax of all the activities, underground activities that have been conducted, supplied, equipped, logistically by the government of Somalia. It is sad, therefore, for a government that we went to help, where we have lost human resources, material resources, we have lost very many people in our places, injured, killed because of the fight in Somalia. Ugandans and the Kenyans have paid a very high price for this type of liberation, to liberate Somalia from the hands of the terrorist organizations that are still in that country. It is surprising, therefore, to hear that the same government that we are helping has become a puppet government supplied by Qatar and Turkey, importing the Middle East type of operations into the region. This region goes on, and it is bringing quite a lot of difficulties for the people of the region. As I said, the shooting down of the plane that was carrying medical equipment to help the people of Somalia who are dying at huge numbers and are reported very badly by the government in Mogadishu is a sign that there is some conspiracy between the militants who are government sponsored with those who are guarding in Baridera. The situation remains tense. We therefore leave it to the international community, to the African Union, to peaceful well-wishers, to find out the link and the thread, the Qataris, the Turkish, the United Arab Emirates, the Norwegians, what role are they playing in destabilizing Somalia? We thank the troops on the ground, the Uganda People's Defense Forces, the Kenya Defense Forces in Kismayo, who have kept peace despite the provocations of the government in Mogadishu. We like to take this opportunity as a Pan-African organization and organizations in Africa to call upon President Farmajo to stop these war-like activities against the same people, allies who came to liberate Somalia from the hands of terrorist groups that keep on coming and multiplying in Somalia. This is the double-edged sword of the Somali government. They work both sides, they cut both sides. If we are wrong, the world will see. Thank you.
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us today. This is Good Morning Africa, and my name is Miriam Ogutu. Of course, the show, the television station is Punchline Africa TV, and we're coming to you all the way from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. And yes, that is the topic that we shall be looking at today. But before we get into that, I'll introduce my panelist. But before we get to that, really, I'd like to bring us up to date with the latest statistics in regards to COVID-19 in the country. And Kenya, we've hit the 100,000 mark there with 152 cases, 100,052 cases that have been recorded so far on COVID-19. 1,744 people have died, and recoveries right now stands at 83,413. Uganda, 39,188. The death toll in Uganda is 318, and recovery stands at 14,051. And the total figures we have in Africa this morning is 2,940,900 cases. The number of deaths in the continent is 96,655. Recoveries in Africa is 2,551,620 cases. And so before we get into the newspaper review and then we get into our topic for today, I'm joined by Douglas Bundi Kirimi, all the way from Meru. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam, and today you called me Bundi. Bundi is the name that my father gave me in 1992 when I was born. And also good morning to my friend, Professor Jared Onyari, and also to our crew back at our headquarters in Nairobi, and also to our friends across the world. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning.
All right.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, Douglas, and indeed a good morning to you. And we're also joined by Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam, Douglas, and the rest of our viewers.
All right. Thank you so much. And of course, Doctor shall be with us in a very couple of minutes. He will join us and then he'll lead us through the topic that we are having today. But first, I'd like to bring us up to date with what is happening in terms of the headlines this morning. I don't know if they've captured the story that is coming from Kapedo there. Maybe before we even get into the headlines, I'm sure you've been watching what has been happening in the news, the killings and the insecurity that has been happening in Kapedo, and what the leadership from Kapedo, they're coming out and they're saying is that they don't want the government to go hard on the disarmament process, but that they want talks and mediation. I don't know, because they say these bandits, these are cattle rustlers, but they're seriously armed. So I don't know, Professor, before you even get into the rest of the stories, as we wait for Doctor for us to get into our main topic, I don't know what you make of all this. Should they be disarmed or, peace talks?
Miriam, thank you for that good question. The law is very clear. We are all of us equal before the law. Nobody is above the law. Nobody should be under the law. After having said that, Miriam, there is a procedure which is very rough on how you own a gun. You get what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. You feel you have a gun, you need to have a gun because your security is threatened. You apply for one and you get it, Miriam. So, Miriam, in the first place, when you have you own a gun and you don't have a license, you have already committed an offense. Even before you do anything with it, you are arrested with that gun, Miriam, you will be charged. Here, this Miriam, they have moved a notch high to use those guns to kill innocent civilians. As if it is not enough, Miriam, they have gone ahead and have killed our police and the security officers in the past. Miriam, this is a gang which is prepared for war, and the lethal force should be used. Michuki used to say, if you rather snap a snake, the snake will bite you. You don't go, Miriam, to a police station and you start throwing stones there, and you expect the police not to act. So, Miriam, this is an exercise which is long overdue. We have been postponing the rubber band. Mm-hmm. It must stop, Miriam, the child be born. We must go there, fix this problem once for all, as it was fixed in Mount Elgon, Miriam. Mm-hmm. You know, those characters had even come and say, Miriam, what kind of the size of the hand that you want us to cut? Short sleeves or long sleeves, Miriam? We can't work on that. Mm-hmm. And Miriam, the sooner the leaders from that region come together and see that the government is there to protect life and property. Miriam, what do you expect if you come and kill children and women and take people's animals? Then you expect the government to just clap for you and say thank you? What happens, Miriam, when you find people who are armed with sophisticated weapons, Miriam? So, Miriam, the exercise is long overdue, and I hope that now we are going to walk the talk.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Douglas. And I saw yesterday the CS for Interior, CS Matiang'i, giving the government's position and saying enough is enough. We are not stopping, we are moving in, and we will continue with the disarmament process. But the leadership from that area, which I don't know, when they talk, I don't know, I don't want to imply or implicate, but this is a problem that has been there. Peace talks have been over time. We've seen a couple of peace talks happen before, but this problem is persistent. So perhaps disarmament will be a lasting solution in that region. And why are they looking for a different way to solve this problem? And why have they not been trying to solve this problem in the past, Douglas?
Thank you, Miriam. And on the issue of Kapendo and every other place that is invaded by bandits, we need to be very clear that we've been having these issues around these places, and these politicians, including the former MPs in the region and also others who are arrested, who are serving today. These are people who have benefited from these banditry works, and also people who have supplied these people with arms. They know when these poor masses who are armed with these guns, sophisticated weapons, are going to talk the truth. But at the end of the day, we need to also see the hypocrisy in our leaders, especially from that region. When, for example, there is in fighting in Kapendo, we find out that their leaders are in Nairobi doing politics and other things that benefit them only. And at the end of the day, if our leaders keep coming to Nairobi and also their people are dying there, that tells you that they have a stake in what is happening there, and their press conferences and press releases don't mean anything. At the end of the day, we want to secure life and property. Remember, when there is infighting, when there are bandits, when there are robbers who suffer, the women and children are going to suffer. So I applaud the government's position to go and disarm these people and also to arrest these leaders, because when we have leaders in a region who profit from banditry and who want to always use bandits to continue amassing wealth for themselves and their families, that is not the right way to go. And these people are protected by these leaders and they are supplied with arms. How can a poor man in Kapendo get the most recent gun and all that? And also basing it on the terrain in Kapendo, we need to also understand the government position. At this point, if they're not going to return their arms voluntarily, the government should use force and also get to the bottom of the matter and arrest the leaders in the region. When the CS speaks, he needs to speak the truth. He needs to say this and this man is supporting the bandits and also giving them guns. And we need to be very clear in as much as this issue is concerned, because the people in the region know the truth. Kenyans know the truth. Right. They know that our leaders profit from banditry, and our leaders should be brought to book, and every other cattle rustler in the region or in the country. We need to go for the big fish now. We cannot continue disarming the poor people who are supported by our leaders, and our leaders should also, after they are arrested, they should relinquish their positions, because they are promoting insecurity in our country, which is to their profit and not to the profit of the country.
Okay, thank you so much. And we're also joined by Kidi Morgan from Nairobi. Kidi, a very good morning to you. And what do you make on the situation in Kapedo before we get into our main topic of the day?
Thank you very much, Miriam. And a very good morning to you, a good morning to co-panelists, and a good morning and good afternoon to our viewers in East Africa and around the world. Diving right into the heart of your question, we agree that the primary responsibility of a responsible government is to secure its people. However, the government has been lenient with the security situation in Kapedo, in Baragoi, and then the Tiati constituency. You realize that this is a place where we lost 42 police officers in 2012. We lost 14 officers in 2014, and it has always remained a volatile area, in part because there is a thinking in that side of the world that people can take up weapons and push away government and have a territory that has got no government control, and therefore they can have the Baragoi and Kapedo area to themselves and do it as they please.
Authorized that.
So that time comes for the government to go there and make sure that finally there is a mop-up of illegal weapons, ensure that guns are removed from the hands of civilians, and that there is return of normalcy, so that women and children, those that without weapons, can then go to continue living their lives ordinarily, fetch water, go to school, and do what ordinary human beings do. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, we are joined by Dr. Matsanga, who shall be joining us and leading us through our main topic of the day, and that has to do with Somalia and the recent developments and the insecurity that we've seen between Somalia and Kenya border there. So Doctor shall be leading us in that conversation. And before Doctor comes in, quickly, Javan, your take on what is happening there in Kapedo and why the leaders there do not want the government to go on with the disarmament process.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers, and good morning to my co-panelists. Thank you for having me on the panel. One thing that we must agree is that the issue in Kapedo has been an issue that has been repeating itself quite a period of time, and we have lost a number of policemen and women in that area. And one issue that I feel is affecting the region is a political interference. We have politicians who incite these masses. They give them security, they give them protection, And that is how these people have been so powerful for quite a period of time. And we also have the issue of the illiteracy. And because I feel like most in this region, people don't go to schools. That is why you find a young man, 14 years, he has already have a gun and they know how to use them because they don't attend school. But what they attend is those training on how to raid other region and get animals, how to use these arms and so on. Therefore, the best that we can do is to intensify and advocate for these young men and women to be taken to school. And we come and take politicians who are responsible for all these things. Because in that region, if politically, you must come and start pretending to intervene. After you cause all this and you stage manage all this violence, you come as the savior, and the people in that region, they end up electing you because you seem to protect their interest, but that is not the case. Then we have politicians who benefit from the cattle rustling. They take these animals to the Kenya Meat Commission. They have market outside the country, and that is how they get into this region, and they benefit quite hugely. And there's also the issue of cultural practices, where these where people from this region, they believe in order for you to qualify in the manhood, you must go to a certain community and you get some cattle from there. Then you qualify to join manhood, and you are termed as a brave and a protector of the community, and you are quite glorified. Therefore, we must look onto this issue, and the government should ensure that the security is tight, and we must also advocate for these people going to school, and all politicians who are culpable, they must bear the responsibility and be taken to a court of law.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I thought that was important because this has been a development and it's something that we've been seeing making news across in the country, and I think it was a matter of importance. So I wanted us to just take a look at that. But I think we'll talk about it maybe later in detail and see what's happening there. But right now, I'd like us to just go into our main topic of today, and I'll take us to the Political Command Center, where Dr. Matsanga shall be leading us in that. Doctor, good morning to you, and I hand over the rest of the hour to you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Good morning, the panel. Good morning, Professor Nyari. Good morning, Kidi Mwaga. Good morning, Javani Karanja. Good morning, Douglas Kirimi. And good morning, Miriam, in the General Headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya. This is the Political Command Center of Punchline Africa Television. A television that speaks its mind. A television that speaks what is ailing Africa. What ails Africa? Who are liars on this continent? Who are the presidents causing chaos on this continent? As you are aware, all of us, Kenya, the African Union, Uganda, Burundi, and many countries that surround Somalia have paid a heavy price. A heavy price in the sense that insecurity since 1991 has come back to haunt the states that neighbor Somalia. And Miriam, I would like your people to be on the show so that the panel can be on the show. Either you are on or you go. That is the point now. We would like to discuss, and the people watching us internationally would like to see us on the show. Because the matter we are discussing is very crucial. It's security of these two countries. And it happens to be, this insecurity is the one that has killed us because of a lying president. A president who lies. A president who talks with two tongues. A president who tells one word today, jumps on the other one. A president, when he put under scrutiny, Farmajo does not pass the scrutiny. Miriam, from 9th to 13th of January, IGAD, with the help of African Union, has been conducting a fact-finding mission to bring out the difficulties, the obstacles, the challenges the two countries, Kenya and Somalia, face in their diplomatic turf. The tough wars diplomatically have created us the difficulties that we see today. The findings of IGAD are very, very clear, like the sunset of the Savannah republics of Africa. I will produce these documents and I'm going to send it to you to put it for the people of the world to see the findings of what IGAD found out about the problems of Somalia. There is nowhere that IGAD ministers, IGAD foreign ministers, including the Somali minister himself, found out that Kenya was harboring troops or training rebels or sending rebels into Somalia. That's point number one. The findings discovered that the problems of Somalia are corruption. The problems of Somalia are around President Farmajo. The leadership style, the substance of President Farmajo, whose leadership style leaves a lot to be desired. Uganda, Kenya, Djibouti, and other countries that are members of IGAD, chaired by Sudan, did not anywhere incriminate Kenya in these findings. Because the main media in this country of yours, Kenya, shy away from speaking out the truth. They don't tell the truth. They are busy dividing the people. We have a duty as the media, which is not regulated by the ethics of those who want to gain or khaki envelopes, to tell the world that the main problem of Somalia is the president of Somalia is a liar. Why has he become a liar today? Can anybody of you on the panel tell me that you can take people from Somalia to train in Uganda as officials of Electoral Commission? Have you ever seen a black pot teaching another black pot how to cook? Somalia election officials were trained in Uganda. I'm bringing in Uganda because I want to, as an elite of this region, I speak the truth. And nobody is going to gag my truth. I have intelligence very firmly on my tips coming out of some Mogadishu, well-placed sources. How Uganda has taken over the entire administrative adversary role of Farmajo's office, from the toilet up to the iron sheet. This is where the problem is. And if Kenya is looking for the problem, they better look for the problem by facing the same problem that we find maybe in the first topic that you are talking about, which Kid Mwaga was talking about, capital trial. Someone has put a strategy to dismember Kenya. And if Kenyans don't wake up and see this person and see where the strategy is, a three-pronged strategy. Strategy number one, disorganize Kenya on the eastern border. With Somalia. Strategy number two, disorganize Kenya on the western border. Through Siguta Valley, Kapedo Valley, and others, Karamoja, through Turkana, you can guess. Strategy number three, create a hustler nation of fun-only funds headed by the deputy president in the middle to dismember the entire Uhuru administration. If people are not saying this truth, to come out, my brothers and sisters on this show, if we don't say it, those who think we are shouting, give it only 6 months to 1 year. The strategy that I'm talking about is going to be very live. Already, you can see Farmajo who was told, go and say Kenya is invading you. The problems of Farmajo are not Kenyan problems. Problems are internal. He has extended his tenure of elections. He doesn't want to agree on the method of election. It's the same characteristics which we find in country. Why? The results are waffled, things become, it's the same tactic, the same teacher, the same thing happening in the Central African Republic. As an elder in Africa, I cannot sit quiet. I'm not 44 years old, neither 52 years old like Ruto. I'm 65 years old, going to die tomorrow or the other day, if God calls me. But I want to leave a mark of truthiness, a mark of talking the truth, telling the truth, so that Africa can change even when I've perished. I'm not going to keep quiet and be here, waste my electricity, my power, my manpower to tell half truth. The truth here, if you read the entire report of 12 pages of IGAD, of which Miriam, I'm going now after this talk, I'm going to print it, publish it. You will not find anywhere where Kenya has been unfair to Somalia. Let's come back to external darker forces. I've mentioned one external force. Where did it go wrong? And this is for Kenya and the government of Kenya. It's up to them to take it or don't take it. There is envy, very serious envy, for the good performance of KDF in Kismayo. The behavior of the troops, that troop sector, which Miriam knows, you know all the sectors, sector 1, sector 2, and the panel. The most peaceful sector is the KDF sector, where Kenya is stationed. It therefore has brought a lot of envy, weave from those member states who sent troops there at the beginning. That's a true intelligence report. Whether you go to the moon or come back, it is one of the factors that is causing insecurity in Somalia. Why? People want the Kenya, Kismayo, Jubaland withdraw. Then they return to occupy and create an axis of Al-Shabaab. Truth number 3, there is Al-Shabaab in Farmajo's government. Has he told East African states, African Union, that there are people within his government, his intelligence system, that steal information and give it to Al-Shabaab? No. 4, if you look at the report of IGAD, how many planes of Kenya have been hit while landing or taking off? Why the planes of Kenya? And why are they hit in a place where troops are not known where they came from? Why is it that when a plane lands in Mogadishu, we can say this is Al-Shabaab? But when they are hit somewhere in other airports, the Ethiopians say our troops were on the ground and they were not on the ground. So where are they? Who are these groups? Farmajo knows the groups. 5, 300 bodies of Somali troops were found in Tigray. How did they end there? How did they arrive there? Who took them there? Eritrea. Al-Shabaab has got new uniforms, new guns. Where are they coming from? There must be a supply line. Any soldier who has fought a battle, a war like me, I wouldn't say you hit and go where. When Al-Shabaab hits in Mogadishu, where does it go to? Who gives them money to come back? Who pays them to hit? There must be a country. Country number 3 on the list is Eritrea. There is nowhere where Kenya has been mentioned as having lines of Al-Shabaab. 6, the director of intelligence of the country called Mogadishu or Somalia is a well-known person who doubles as a man from Qatar, serving interests of Qataris. And Qatar is fully involved in activities that kill us in Kenya and Uganda and other places. Fortunately, in Uganda, because they have hammered an agreement, Al-Shabaab does not go there. Miriam, when did you hear last that Al-Shabaab has struck Uganda? When? Doesn't it sound to any intelligence officer listening to me? Why is it that Al-Shabaab has not hit Uganda since the last hit? There must be an understanding. Therefore, that don't hit us, but we shall help you to disorganize Kenya. These are my take. And I have evidence. If you want to query me, I will table it. And if you force me, I will be public. 7, external forces, Turkey, Norway, France are the problems of this region. What do they want? They have interest in the oil fields, the oil blocks that are in the Indian Ocean. As we speak now, the Qataris and Norwegians are busy pressurizing the International Court of Justice. And I want the Kenyans to take this very seriously, to restart the case that they had put on hold after COVID and other activities in the court. Who is paying for this? These are the same countries that Kenya has given diplomatic immunity in Nairobi. But they work with the enemy. They work with Somalia to disorganize Kenya. Mr. Farmajo does not tell us how much Norway, how much Qatar. Neither has he told the Somalis how much he gets from Qatar. The poor Somalis are suffering. The poor Somalis are dying of COVID. They have nowhere to run, of hunger, of poverty. Millions and millions of dollars corruptly siphoned, stashed in banks in Doha. I have evidence. Viewers and my panel, this was just an opening, eye-opener. Tomorrow, this full report will be with all of you, or this afternoon. You read the report yourselves. But I wanted to bring it to the attention of the people of East Africa and the Great Lakes region that there is something that is very wrong, that if you don't uproot the jigger, we shall always continue to be the way we are. In Somalia, Kenya has paid a heavy price. Kenya has had its troops killed. Kenya has had its buildings destroyed, human lives lost. It's not because they liked it. It's because God put them near Somalia. They did not choose to be here. But God put us together. Kenya has not at all and never, I don't speak for the government of Kenya, but I research on matters of East Africa and the Great Lakes region. You cannot floor me on an argument on this because I will floor you. I use empirical data, evidence, intelligence networks internationally. Through Paris, through London, you will get this information, Miriam. There is something wrong in this region that we are not speaking out. Your problems internally of the Hasola nation, which you are saying you are drumming up, look at the origins. When Hitler was going to attack the whole of Europe, Hitler started admiring several things. When Emperor Nero was going to kill the Romans, he started admiring Christianity. The panel can go back and research the evidence of the IGAD ministers from 9th to 13th. The report that they have put out vindicates Kenya. It shows, exposes President Farmajo as a big liar. I am not God to measure how good his heart is or his soul. But from his dealings, the way he has shifted election dates, the way he has wanted to kill his other regional presidents, the way he has detained other people, the way he works with Al-Shabaab, the way he has some people in Al-Shabaab MPs whom I know are really Al-Shabaab, really in Villa, Somalia. One of them, and if he says I will expose him. Who knows? Who's always in Asmara, in Eritrea, flying in Asmara, meeting another terrorist called Isaias Ifak. Yes, and Africans are not talking. Miriam, I told you that it was a mistake for Dr. Abe to shake hands with Isaias Ifak. I know him, he's my friend. And I hope he takes this clip, he knows me. We have worked together in London, in Islington and Highbury. When he was with Zenawi, I was with Uganda Community Relief Association as a vice chairman. He was the chairman. Zenawi was the chairman of Ethiopian Relief Agency with Dr. Tedros, another fifth. So don't think I'm talking from I am telling you, these are thieves. That Tedros is a thief. So I am not surprised that coronavirus is killing very many people. From the time he went to China and I came back, I never told us from December until February. Me, I know Tedros. I told the people, and they thought I was lying. Efaki, Esaias Efaki, Zenawi, Matsanga, Wafula, Damba, and Tedros. We worked in one office, supported by the British government at the third time for Zenawi and the fires to remove General Mengistu Haile Mariam. For those men who run around the social media who don't even know history, you better know. Mengistu Haile Mariam was the military ruler who overthrew Emperor Haile Selassie, killed him, and took over power. At that time, the British government was fighting a one-party state created by one man who is still alive. So they gave us offices, and we have no regrets. The history in Britain is written. You can go to their archives, you will find that we had offices. That's why some of us have been veteran opposition leaders. Some of us, I am one of the only people who has never surrendered to a regime that has molested people. But affairs, if Isaiah's effect works with Farmajo. That's how you found Somali troops in Tigray. How did the Somali troops arrive in Tigray? Somalia and Tigray, who is nearer to each other? How do you pass to go to Tigray? So this is contained, the diplomatic war between Kenya and Somalia. Miriam, I submit. Tomorrow we shall have a longer discussion. This afternoon, you will receive the report. I have it with me. I will send it to your production team. Each of you will have a report. The mainstream media has not come out on these matters. They are still even talking maybe in favor of Somalia. But I'm telling you, for me, as a peacemaker, if you don't speak the truth as a peacemaker, you can't make peace.
That's true.
If you don't tell Museveni that you are a warmonger, you can't make peace with Konyi, who is also a warmonger. Because both of them were warmongers. So when I went to Kampala, the first point, for the first time in 22 years, arrived and Museveni said, "You are warmongers." I said, "Mr. President Chisano is warmonger number one. So if you want this meeting to take place, even in Kampala here, if you want me to take part in the meeting, restrain me from this warmonger. Otherwise, give me the plane and I go home." Under UN mandate, what will you do? What? What will you do? No, what will you do? Because the man has called us and is threatening us. He's a warmonger that is telling us we are more warmongers, more of warmongers. Can somebody in normal intelligence systems in East Africa explain to me how Ugandan troops are helping Bozize? Kenya is a member of the United Nations Security Council. This intelligence should fall in the hands of Kenya to submit to the United Nations Security Council that we have Bozize, a rebel, capturing a legitimately elected government in Bangui, where the United Nations Security Council has sent Rwanda and Russia to safeguard. But we have a country, and we have countries sending troops, supporting Bozize. Bozize is always in Kampala, supporting Bozize to go and dismember Central African Republic. No wonder we are digging roads through DRC Congo to Central African Republic to transport the diamonds, to transport the timber, to transport the ivory, and support the regime. Soon you will find Somali troops in the Central African Republic. I therefore submit, Miriam, that Farmajo, having failed Somali people, should just honorably take a nice walk towards Indian Ocean and sink. That's it. It's near. Sink. Because Republicans in Minnesota, you know, the man is a liar. Before I go, he said he has received the American citizenship. According to my intelligence last night, 4 a.m., checking with the State Department, finding out passport issuance in America. The passport of Mr. Farmajo has never been cancelled. Sicheze na mimi wewe. And if you want the data, Mr. Farmajo, I will send you the copy through the normal channels where you receive you have been receiving whatever, and I know you are watching me. I will send you the copy to show to Somali people that your passport has not been cancelled by the American United States government. You lied. The Director of Intelligence returned the Kenyan passport, which you have, which you use to launder money through Nairobi and Kampala and Qatar. You are liars. Nitoboe or sitoboe?
Oboa.
Kirimi nitoboe. Kidi, these are facts.
Explosive.
Yes, these are facts. They launder money. We have evidence where money originates from Qatar to come and kill us. The Kenyan media is keeping quiet. This is Punchline Africa Television from the Political Command Center in London. Good morning, Africa. Across to you, Miriam, in Nairobi.
All right.
That is a special program, My Take, brought to you by myself, responsible for the words, based on the report of IGAD ministers, 9th to 13th. What will you do? I've read the report. I went to very good school. I have very good English analysis. I'm not like somebody whose degree was written for. You know him, Kirimi, that he has got a degree in botany. He's now disrupting Uhuru Kenyatta. And Ayoko. That what? What degree? Show me how many hours to get a PhD. How many hours did you put in? How many? You are deputy president, you run up here. How many hours did you sit in a class? Wow, pay, Anybody going that route of that dictate? Me and him. Kwanza. Well, natisha Uhuru Kenyatta every time. What for? Tuko na data. If we can find the data of if we can find the data of Farmajo not cancelling the American passport. Don't try. Don't. Tushike mzuri. Vitisho hiyo ya kijana ya upuzi wachana. Watu walibeba AK-47 mwaka 78, ulikuwa wapi na viatu? Ulikuwa na viatu, ilikuwa unavaa viatu wewe? Acha. This wheelbarrow stupid narrative that you people in Kenya are entertaining. What is it? Adam Smith and Karl Marx never wrote the wheelbarrow narrative. Stupid. Where? Show me. I've read Adam Smith. I can recite his books without looking for Itumbi to interpret for me, who has not even seen the classroom, but he saw River Keregoya. Later, you bring it, we bring it. Msitisha Uhuru, you have threatened. Miriam, bring another topic in the afternoon or tomorrow on this wheelbarrow. I will wake up very early from London. I will hammer the way you will not like it. Now I have got even what is happening. I will produce the bank accounts where this money that is funding the wheelbarrow is coming from. Then I'm tisha what? Mr. President, East or West, unity. You are a member of the United Nations Security Council now. Document the countries that are causing trouble in sub-Saharan Africa. Document the countries that are exporting terrorism in southern Tanzania and northern Mozambique. Your Excellency, your research team should be looking for that type of evidence that you can table it to the Security Council as a member of the sub-Saharan Africa on the Security Council. We cannot allow the country to go to ruin. We cannot allow this region to be divided when we know where the trouble is coming from. The axis, remember points as I close, my fellow panelists, time is against us. It was a show for this. Take notes, make 1 minute comment. At the end of it, we shall revisit. Tomorrow morning, 2-3 hours, we are going to hammer extensively with your report in your hands. This afternoon, all of you on the panel will receive a copy. And I'm gonna publish it. If people have not published, no newspaper in Kenya has published. This report is very candid. That Farmajo not lie and kill Kenyans. I rest my case.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. So before the rest of the panelists come in, because time is quickly running out and we need to prepare for the 11 a.m. show, just there's that story on page 7 before they come in of the Daily Nation where CS Matiang'i, while addressing the issues there in Kapedo, the matter of Somalia was also brought up, and this is what he said. At the same time, Dr. Matiang'i dismissed, page 7 of the Daily Nation, dismissed claims by Somalia Information Ministry that rebels funded by Kenya crossed over to Bulawayo town to attack local forces, saying the country is not involved in any conflict with any of its neighbors. We understand there is a conflict on the other side of the border. It's internal to Somalia and has nothing to do with us, and none of our forces have crossed over to Somalia, says Matiang'i, and the CS added that apart from the Al-Shabaab incursions into the country through Kenya-Somalia border, the country is not under any threat, under any new threat. And then after that, Kenya yesterday wrote to the African Union raising security concerns after Somalia's federal and regional forces renewed fighting at Bulawayo in Gedo near Mandera County. Nairobi said the fighting is likely to create a security crisis for Kenya, especially since the two countries no longer have diplomatic ties. I'll start with you, Professor, as we conclude.
Yeah, Miriam.
Professor, just a minute. I had thought we were starting the next program at 10. I'm sorry. I didn't know it is 11 o'clock. So the panel, please have some extra time and discuss. I'm very, very sorry. I thought it is 10 o'clock. That's why I was rushing.
It's 5 minutes to 10 o'clock, so we are almost.
No, the other program comes at 11.
Yes.
I'm mixed up of time problem. I'm so many hours behind you.
It's okay.
So I am mixed up, Miriam.
No problem.
Sorry about that. You have panel professor. You have good time to hammer these people down in the Indian Ocean.
Just a couple of minutes because we need to prepare for the other show. But Professor, go ahead.
On Somalia or Kapedo, where?
On the Somalia issues. Kapedo will have a proper conversation about it. I think it requires enough time because it's very important.
Okay.
Yeah, so but let's just look at Somalia.
I have pronounced myself before on the relationship between Kenya and Somalia. It dates back, Miriam, to colonial times. And Somalia is our neighbor. They are our brothers. And Miriam, sometimes when someone says that Kenya wants to interfere with Somalia, Miriam, my hair stands. Why? We have literally built Somalia. We have housed those people, Miriam, here in Kenya. The Somalia government was formed here in Kenya, Miriam. The first president, President Hassan. They were having their parliament here at Raiko Regents, by then Grand Regents, and Miriam, you can remember how they used to throw chairs over each other. Miriam, over what interest? Over what interest will Kenya want to interfere with Somalia? Even the oil blocks and the oil reserves, Miriam, we have never used them before. They have never used them before. We don't know where those oil is there and what how prospective it can be. So Miriam, when you talk about that one is cheap, and I'm happy that Dr. Matsanga'S is having that report. It is going to vindicate us. What do we need to do, Miriam? You interfere with Kenya and Somalia. There are so many Somali nationals here in Kenya. There are even some who have even bought nationalities so that they become Kenyans. So Miriam, Farmajo, I know what he wants to do is, Miriam, he wants to be elected back to office. There is nothing much he has done that he can show the people of Somalia. So he must look for an enemy in the name of Kenya to say that we are interfering with their internal issues. And then he can have sympathy so that he can be able to rally the people of Somalia and say that Kenya is an enemy. I'm happy, one of the things I'm happy, Miriam, that both President Uhuru Kenyatta and Farmajo, Miriam, they submit themselves into negotiations to the round table. They gave negotiation and a way of solving this with a chance, and the report has come forward, Miriam. So, Miriam, the people of Somalia and the people of Kenya, God designed that we become neighbors. Whether we decide to lock our borders or not, we will continue to remain our borders. We will continue being neighbors until God comes. So I appeal to the leaders, and I totally concur with Dr. Matsanga that Kenya is a member of United Nations Security Council. You cannot be a member of United Nations Security Council and go to interfere with other countries. Miriam, that's an insult already. That one is trying to lower the stature of Kenya. Miriam. Remember, Miriam, even when we were going for that seat, you know who were inciting Djibouti to stand against Kenya. So, Miriam, my appeal and my submission here is: can we be good neighbors? Can we subject ourselves, both the Somali people and the people of Kenya, into the respect of human rights and democracy, and try to build this region? Miriam, from where I stand and my expertise in conflict and peace transformation in the continent of Africa, Miriam, there is nobody who is going to come from another continent to come and build Africa. Well, what the people are interested in is our resources. Miriam, when people fight, you know who will come and take all our resources. So I'm calling the leadership of President Uhuru and Farmajo. They see themselves as brothers and take this region forward. But I'm very impressed that we now have a report which we can look at, and the data is there. And I'm happy with what the speed at which the report has come out. I submit, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. And yes, before we took our Christmas holiday, Somalia had the case between Somalia and Kenya was discussed there in IGAD, and it was we thought it was settled because Somalia and the two countries decided to agreed to bring back the diplomatic ties, because remember Somalia had decided to sever all the diplomatic ties with Kenya. Somalia, come on. So now we're hearing that they're complaining, and yet Kenyan forces didn't have anything to do with what is happening there at the border. It is the forces from Somalia and the forces from one of the regional federal governments there in region there in Somalia. So they're fighting, and because of the proximity of our border, they spill into our country. Matter of fact, now they're causing us insecurity, and Kenya had to write to the African Union. And so instead of President Farmajo complaining, maybe he could cooperate with Kenya and see how do you ensure you're safe on the other side and we're also safe in this other side. But instead, I don't know, Douglas, what's your take in all these new developments between Kenya and Somalia, and this new row that President Farmajo is now really trying to pull Kenya into?
Thank you, Miriam. And for President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, his biggest headache is that, and also problem is that he has coupled greed, nationalism for his own re-election, and also he is very unpatriotic to his country, because what he is doing today we find Kisimayu, where we find our forces, is very peaceful, and other parts of Jubaland is also very peaceful. Why is in fighting in Mogadishu alone? Why are citizens in his part where he is reading the Federal Republic of Somalia in Mogadishu and other parts very unpeaceful? Farmajo is a man that has refused to accept that he is greedy, and also he wants to use Kenya as a scapegoat for his own election. But at the end of the day, for him, he has to know that Kenya cannot be dragged into what he is trying to do. Dr. Matsanga'S has done an expose very well on what the IGAD ministers from 9th to 13th had been able to find out. And we have seen that now Farmajo is a big liar. And also for him to be able to continue stealing money and stashing that money, being bribed with corruption money and stashing it in Qatar and also other places in the world, it shows us a man that we are dealing with is a very insincere man. They met with President Uhuru Kenyatta in Djibouti, but he has not taken that to account. This is a man that you can call for a meeting, and when you call him for a meeting, he pretends to be together with you. But when he comes back, he plans with Museveni so that he can be able to destabilize the western parts of Kenya, and also so that he can continue doing magic and drama on the Kenyan borders. For him to continue doing these things to the Republic of Kenya, it is very uncalled for. We've been good people to the Republic of Somalia. We formed our government, right? And also paid their salaries using our taxpayers' money. They didn't pay us. We have paid a good host to them. And also the fact that most of their refugees come to our country shows that we've been good to these people. But at the end of the day, what Farmajo has repaid us with is that when there is infighting and also internal crashes in their country, he blames it on us. And we have been vindicated by time. We've been vindicated by facts. And also facts are very stubborn, Miriam. They cannot be changed. And also for Farmajo, your day is coming, brother. Hold on. Your day is coming. Thank you.
Okay, very well. So we know that the government of President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo
Miriam,
yes.
Miriam,
Yes.
1 minute before Kidi comes in, I just want to read 5 points. Mr. Farmajo said, 1, Kenya violates its airspace. 2, Kenya violates its land borders. These are the complaints that were laid before. IGAD team. 3, he said recognition and a collaboration with the Jubaland regional state. of Mr. Madobe. 4, participation in illegal sugar trade and coal. These are allegations that Somalia president from his mouth laid before the IGAD team in Djibouti. 5, creation, training, maintenance on the Kenyan soil. And this is very, very crucial. Professor Onyari and others who are going to debate this is very crucial. That training, creation, maintenance of Kenyan soil, an armed group,
of lovers of the mystics across the spiritual tradition.
which is a lie. Where is the armed group? The armed group is inside Somalia. It is fighting the Somali government troops versus Jubaland troop armed group government. So where is Kenya? Where are they located? Maybe the refugees who are running back to Kenya to seek more help. Can Kenya turn away innocent Somalis who are running away because 2 groups are fighting inside Somalia? Under the Geneva Convention, Kenya is mandated to look after the lives of the refugees who are running away from hardship. Miriam, those are the 5 points that Somalia presented. And later on, after your panel has finished, I will read for you the conclusion of IGAD. Then you can see there is a very big liar wearing a tie called Farmajo.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for bringing that up. And as we speak right now, maybe I'll pick a point or two, and then Doctor will come back to you when the panel finish. Somalia was supposed to hold parliamentary elections early December, but the Jubaland President Sheikh Mohammed Islam, commonly known as Sheikh Madobe, insisted that the federal government must first withdraw its troops from the Gedo region, which has 16 parliamentary seats. So that is what Sheikh Madobe, the president, the leader of the Jubaland, said, before we hold elections here, we are not at war. Can you first remove the army from this place, and then we can, there can be a peaceful and a better atmosphere for an election to take place. But also we know that Kenya in December expressed its desire, or expressed that it will soon have a Zira consulate at Jubaland, and that did not sit very well with President Farmajo. But what we know is Ethiopia and Djibouti, they have a consulate in Jubaland. So why is it that if Kenya now wants to have one, it is a problem? And yet Ethiopia and Djibouti are very good friends of Somalia. So if Ethiopia and Djibouti can do that, then why do you think, Kitty, Mr. Farmajo is not very comfortable with Kenya doing the same? Because I think that is where he's bringing the Jubaland issue.
Thank you very much, Miriam. In the Somali issue, I want to summarize is that we are dealing with a case of rogue nationalism that is geared towards tappering to the whims of those in power as opposed to the interest of the ordinary Somalis. Because you realize that Mr. Farmajo accuses Kenya of, among other things, harboring militants who are fighting his regime in Somalia. The truth is, under the doctrine of non-refoulement in refugee and humanitarian law, is that all state parties have got the mandate to receive refugees whenever such refugees show up at their borders, especially if they demonstrate that they are facing threat or fear of threat back at home. So some of those people who may, and now I want to speculate, who may have showed up at Kenyan borders, may have people who have been previously fighters in those, militants who have now given up arms and run to Kenya in pursuit of asylum. Kenya has got an obligation under international law to ensure that such people are given asylum. If President Farmajo was being genuine in ensuring that we have a stable Somalia, then President Farmajo has the obligation to always work with Kenya, because Somalia is where it is, because in large part because of the investments made by Kenya. So that going forward, trying to supplant Kenya's efforts and acting as though he was able to prop up Somalia without Kenya's help is being disingenuous, in part because of the large border that Kenya and Somalia share. Two, you realize that there is a multi-billion shilling investment from Somalia that is in Kenya. So that is also cannot be taken for granted. Somalia conducts its, the Somali government has been conducting its affairs in Kenya. Its members of its government are in Kenya. So that, in a nutshell, ending where I started, is that we are dealing with a case of rogue nationalism in Somalia. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'll correct that it's not in Jubaland, but Somaliland that Kenya expressed its desire to have the consulate there. Thank you so much for that. And now,
Miriam,
of course, yes.
Miriam, again, before...
Doctor, I want to go to Javan and then you can conclude the show.
So there is a good point for Javan.
Okay.
And listen to it. Very interesting to show how a liar is. The ministers of IGAD flew over to Mandera Air Force Base. And here we are. The ministers, the commission took opportunity while they were flying to see whether there were camps populated in the Kenyan territory. And they say here, hey, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, Miriam. During these flights, members of the commission were able to observe Somali military troops, and I repeat, Somali military troops amassed on the border with Kenya. The commission was unable to see any militia in the Kenyan territory overlooking the massed troops. So there you are, I close my, as Karanja goes.
All right, Karanja, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam, and thank you very much, Dr. David Matsanga, for opening eyes of our viewers and on the panel and giving us insights that most of the people will fear to bring on the table and to portray the image and the true character of who the president of Somalia, Mohamed Farmajo, is. And on the issue, and I agree, he is creating a lot of miscellaneous information to portray Kenya as a country that does not want peace to prevail in these countries. And we agree that if it's not for Kenya, Somalia could not be where it is now. We have gone there to intervene on the issue of Al-Shabaab. We have given them space to operate their business from in Nairobi. Therefore, Kenya is a big brother. And maybe that is why some countries are envy of our democratic space, of our development record. And that is why they work in cahoot with Somalia and other enemies to ensure that this country is portrayed in bad image. And one issue that you see, even from the report that Dr. David Matsanga is reading, there was no militias that were found operating in Kenya. But when you go to Somalia, there is. And on the issue of Farmajo saying that Kenya is participating in training armed militias in their soil, then that is a broad light lie that comes from the government of Farmajo, and also saying that the government of Kenya is interfering with airspace. That is something that is not true, because we have seen when the Kenyan army is heading to those areas that we have chaos in Somalia, we have seen our aircrafts being brought down by militias and some groups from Ethiopia and so on. Therefore, things happen from the country of Somalia, but not in the land of Kenya.
And on the issue, Miriam, there is an issue here. We need also to relook, because we have seen members of parliament from Kenya going to Somalia without getting that permission from the coordination, interior coordination. They go there to run some businesses in Somalia that we are not quite aware. So the government of Kenya must also look into spies that may be pretended to be patriotic to Kenya, but their hearts are in Somalia. We have seen also a member of parliament in Kenya having a portrait of Farmajo in his office, in her office, and he in KICC, and portraying that he has some patriotism to the country of Somalia, but not in Kenya, where he is elected to present. Therefore, these people should also declare declare where their heart is. They cannot be operating in Kenya, getting paid in Kenya, but they operate to ensure Kenya is not standing strong. Therefore, the government of Kenya must look on those kind of members, because we understand the Somali community has extended to Kenya and Somalia. Therefore, maybe they have some relatives in Somalia and Kenya, and they are confused where they should lay their loyalty to. But people should declare one stand. And in conclusion, the government of Kenya should continue ensuring that we stabilize Somalia, because when Somalia is unstable, the government of Kenya also suffers. We have refugees in the country. They are sponsored here. We have people from Somalia who have gotten rescue in this country. We should ensure that the country is safe and the issue of terrorism and Al-Shabaab is dealt with, so that we avoid our country suffering in the name of protecting Somalia, and our people are suffering when we are attacked by these militias. The government of Kenya should continue with the good work that they are doing to ensure that the region of East Africa is stable, and all the countries have a good place to call Kenya, and where they can read one or two, three things when it comes to diplomatic issues, because President Uhuru Kenyatta has portrayed himself as a peace-loving person, as a peace-loving man, and who is so diplomatic and who cares for the region of East Africa and Africa at large. Thank you.
So thank you so much. And of course, there's that interesting issue of illegal sugar trade that we know has been on the rumor mill for a very long time there. But I think that is something that Somalia government can deal with. You have officials, President Farmajo, who's supposed to be looking at the economy there in Somalia and seeing what is happening there, and people who have control over certain important aspect of Somalia there. For instance, in Kenya, we see illegal maize coming from Uganda. You know, we cannot go start fighting President Museveni, because if a few people are doing that and some Kenyan officials over here are collaborating for them to do that, we're just going to look into that, but we will not try to bring President Museveni into that issue. So I don't know. But anyway, Doctor, end it for us.
Look at this. On the creation, training, and the maintenance of rebels in Kenya, IGAD found out, and Miriam, very interesting, and let me read slowly in good English. It said, IGAD did not find any evidence that the Minister of Interior, Rashid Janan, had any influence of the local government in the training of any outside forces in Jubaland, and that his troops are under the authority of the army of this region. Have you got it? So, where are these troops that Somalia, Farmajo tells people? On the question of Adani Duale and the Yusuf Haji going to enthronement ceremony, the commission, the IGAD, did not find any evidence that they were sent by the Kenyan government. They were there in their official capacity. Like Dr. Matsanga could cross over in Rwakaka and drink some beer.
Even the Kenyan government was shocked to learn that they were there.
Yes.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs do not know.
Drink one soda Fanta in Malikisi in Sirisa constituency and returned to Bududa the following day. There was no evidence whatsoever. In summary, IGAD says, if the army, Kenyan army, is operating under AMISOM in that region, there was no evidence that the Kenyan army or the Kenya government was doing things contrary to AMISOM regulations. Miriam, bring this topic at unfortunately 3 p.m. You might not be around. I don't know whether you are around. You are around?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll be here. Mm.
Yeah, bring it afresh. All of you will have your copies, and I invite you to come back again. Let's flash, or we bring it tomorrow, because we are the first people to lay hands on this. Other agencies are sleeping. For us, for the sake of security in the region, we are not sleeping. Farmajo, Miriam, is a liar. Farmajo passport, return it to the Americans before I expose it and publish it. In 4 days, I will publish. Even the courts, they have not been cancelled. Farmajo helps Al-Shabaab. I have evidence. There is a member of parliament who also goes to Isaias Afaki, meets him every day. Every week he's in Asmara and comes back to brief Mr. Farmajo in Somali, Villa, Somali. We know this. But for us to fight terrorism, and the media main conclusion is, let's speak out. People fear to speak out. But when the bomb comes, we all run in the toilet. It's better to speak out and stop. Tell them that we know what you are doing. We know the games. The next phase, which I believe Professor Onyari will be happy with, is to expose the internal corroborators. I have a list of internal corroborators, but I will go slowly. Let's deal with the battlefield of wheelbarrows first. Before we come to these internal corroborators, some of them highly placed lawyers, you know? So don't worry.
I know them.
Yes. So the situation is as that Farmajo, I conclude, is a liar.
All right.
That's true.
And the lady, and by the way, Mr. Farmajo continue visiting the crocodile ponds. In December, you had two visits to the crocodile ponds in Uganda. God bless you. You have not asked what happened to Garang. Bye-bye. If I were Farmajo, ask what happened to Garang. Continue visiting a crocodile. Have you ever seen a crocodile DNA? Woohoo! The time, the visit, the landing, we know. So don't think that you are clever, you will fly over Kenya and unaenda. Thank you very much. Don't threaten Kenyans. Don't threaten President Uhuru Kenyatta. You touch him, you rattle him, we rattle you. From where I am, political command center in London, I'll rattle you. What will you do? I'll rattle you. There is freedom of speech in London here. Tutarato wewe. Wena tisha watu huko kwa street ya Nairobi. Wena wheelbarrow yako hiyo. Miriam, right. When you are setting your topics, don't forget, there is an interesting topic of ICC. You are not listening to what is coming out there. It's very interesting. Have you ever seen a man who claims to be a lawyer going with his laptop which he used to do as his equipment for recruiting, seducing witnesses with his mobile phone, that I have an iPhone. I've arrived at Dachi police station. What type of lawyer is this? Where is the kid gone? Is this what they teach them in Nairobi Law School? There is something going on there. Very interesting. This laptop and the phone were all taken, and the hard disks. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can see now why people are raising temperature on Raila Amolo Odinga. I can see. And you also can conclude.
Right.
I am just giving you tips. You can conclude why some the hard disk of the laptop. Why? I wish these people gave me money. I worked for free. But these guys had exchanged huge money. So coming next, an unfolding story of the ICC. Thank you very much, Miriam. Let me wait for 11 o'clock. Since you are here to moderate us, I hope so. I will sit in the back seat today, but the topic is very complicated in that it touches COVID-19. Each countries are choosing each other for spreading this thing. For us in East Africa, we have not accused Tanzania. By the way, I don't know whether two of you or Onyari over the holiday you through Migori and Nyamira, you are able to sneak into Tanzania and come back. How is the situation?
I've confined myself in my country.
The situation in Tanzania, Jameni,
but let me tell you, Dr. Masanga, over the weekend, I went to Kogero, I went to Kisumu, I went to Kakamega, I went to Eldoret. What I only say that we are surviving by the grace of God. People are not observing COVID-19 regulations and rules.
The SOPs
are that it is so much gracious to us.
Yes. And when you see the Deputy Prime President of Kenya addressing people in Dagoret, rubbing each other's mouths and the chests. Jamen, this thing is not a joke. That's all I can tell you. This thing is not a joke. Look at the infection rate in Uganda now. Look at what is happening in the Uganda hospitals. People expose themselves to an election, shouting without masks. Look at what is going on.
Yeah, you see now.
Look in South Africa.
We'll continue,
look in Zimbabwe. So there you are. Coming up next is that topic of the pandemic. Is it being used as a weapon to destroy diplomacy? And Miriam will gauge us through. I will only open the hard parts and leave the rest for you to moderate. And I ask you to give them short time. There are many. All of us.
All
Professor
right. Yes, Doctor. We have to conclude now.
I've concluded. I've gone away to have my breakfast and wash and some other things.
Yes.
Very early here.
All right, Doctor. Thank you so much. I also need to have my breakfast quickly and then prepare for the show. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Kidi. Thank you, Javen and Douglas. We shall meet here at 11 a.m. with that topic that Doctor has introduced there. My name is Miriam Mugutu. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning.
must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.